Salutations, everyone. This is Razor here with the Area of Effect podcast number 8, flying solo this week. And I've been wanting to do this podcast for a while now, because back in January was my 6th year anniversary of joining YouTube and starting to make YouTube videos. And that's kind of crazy. I used to make a video every year about my reflection on how I started and how I got here. And I kind of want to touch base on that again because, I've had a few additional subscribers in the past year and 3 months. So, yeah, I've been doing YouTube for 6 years. So those of you might not know, this is my second channel. And my first channel was started in January 28th of 2013. That was my first, 2011, my first ever video upload on Call of Duty Black Ops free-for-all on firing range. And that was a long time ago, man. That was crazy. I've been doing this for over 6 years now. I've been streaming for over 3 years. And I've made, if you can find my first channel, this will be my 1,333rd video that I've uploaded to YouTube. And that's stayed on YouTube. There's, a couple of videos that I've since deleted, and obviously some for obvious reasons, but I've made a lot of videos and I've been doing this a long time. And I started as a Call of Duty channel. For those of you who might not know, even this channel was started as a Call of Duty channel because I was holding over from my first channel. It was pretty much strictly Call of Duty, a little bit of Battlefield, some movie reviews, a Sonic the Hedgehog playthrough, some little things here and there, but it was mainly a Call of Duty channel. That's how a lot of early channels started. And when I first started doing YouTube 6 years ago, it was before you could make money on YouTube by making videos. It was before partnership was a thing that anybody could have. So there was a lot of content creators out there. The gaming scene was very new in YouTube. And commentary was a pretty new thing. And Call of Duty was kind of like the mainline video game on YouTube for quite some time. Probably until Minecraft came out and kind of took over. And then Call of Duty started having shitty video games. So that's why I changed, on this channel. After Black Ops 2 came Call of Duty, I've tried to block them all out of my memory. But Call of Duty Ghost, that was a garbage game. So only after 2 months, I said, that's not what I'm going to do anymore. So I varied up the channel, just started doing, skits and scripted things. And I started What Mattered 3 years ago. And I started, this podcast last year. And I've had so many different series throughout these 6 years. I first started my YouTube channel doing Call of Duty stuff and teaching people how to play the game because I was really good at it. And obviously I didn't gain any attention or notoriety because I hadn't been there as long as everybody else. Who, to their credit, that was their passion as well, because this was before money was a thing. And not just about video game creators, but all the biggest YouTubers that would get millions of views on all their videos. They weren't making any money off of it outside of, maybe selling merchandise at their store, or maybe, getting an ad or a sponsorship, which was insanely rare back in the days. Nowadays, you watch pretty much any video and they're sponsored by Loot Crate and, Casper Mattress and, all these things that you see all over the place. Back then there was no money in the game. You would maybe get a video on Machinima or a big corporate channel like that, and you would get a small amount of pay for that one video a month, or however frequent you got there. But there was a lot of passion and a lot of talent, from the very get-go, that a lot of it didn't stay because when it comes to a model of work, if you're not getting money out of it, it's not sustainable. We've seen a lot of internet platforms that, a lot of people are using it, but there's no way that this website can make money. So then it just flounders. And you're like, how can that happen? 500 million people use this website every day. And it's like, well, there was no money in it. And it was just, there's no way to keep it alive. But YouTube being such a stable platform, and it was bought by Google, so long ago now, and everyone started being able to become partnered, and my first channel couldn't get partnered, so that's why I started the second channel. Not that I have made a lot of money. I can't make a living off of YouTube. You guys, if you've been here for anything longer than a second, you've realized that most of my videos get under 100 views, and I've had some success with certain series, especially with Smash Brothers, and those garnered me attention, views, and subscribers, but never to a place of what you would call success. Like I can't call even though I've been doing it every single week, most days for the past 6 years, I can't call myself a YouTuber because it's not my job. I don't make a living off of this. I'm not even close. Doing videos on this channel at the most would pay my Netflix subscription every month. So I would feel like it'd be disingenuous to call myself a YouTuber. It's like, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm not, because I'm not like all those other people that you may know or see or most likely subscribe to. Those people are YouTubers. They make this for a living. They get, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on most, if not all of their videos. And, some of them have, started from the beginning, back when there wasn't money, and now they are, and they stuck with it, or they started businesses, or they came together with other people and formed groups and gained a lot of popularity, and then Let's Plays became a thing. It doesn't seem that long ago that Let's Play was like a new thing, and it still really isn't. Back in the day where it was just gameplay commentaries, and then podcasts started being a thing, and there was Justin TV that, a few people would do, and then Twitch started being bigger than Justin TV, and then live streaming became like a must thing for gamers to do. And a lot of people moved from YouTube to Twitch. They used to be big YouTubers, and now they only live stream because that usually will make them more money based, with the subscriptions and all that. And they don't have to deal with like all of the drama of YouTube and monetization and people claiming videos and YouTube drama and all that. So like Twitch streamers have been able to get away from that. And sometimes that's a lot better for the kind of content that they create, whether it be Let's Plays or long forms or creative streamers or something like that. Obviously, there's some people where, the production quality is their selling point, so they stick with YouTube. And I've kind of been able to enjoy the benefits of both, being able to do scripted, formatted production. I wouldn't say like high production stuff because it's just me. I'm the only one who's ever done content on my own channel. I do everything. I do all the filming, all the capturing, all the editing, all the audio editing, all of the thumbnails. And like when I first started this channel, that's when thumbnails became a thing. Like my first channel, partnership wasn't a thing. You couldn't make money, and you couldn't even make your own thumbnails back then. And I did that for like 3 years. And it's just so weird to see how far things have gone. And one of the things I haven't focused on is, I always look at where I started and, what things have failed, what things have been successful, and like where I am now. But I've never like really looked towards the future, because you have to think at some point this is gonna end, for one reason or another. A lot of people are saying that, every 90 whatever percent of websites have all gone down. Big ones like MySpace that kind of disappeared. Everyone used to be on AOL, and then that's pretty much gone. So everyone's like, there's no guarantee that YouTube is going to be a thing. So, create your own website and, future-proof yourself. So like that's one of the possibilities, that like YouTube doesn't become a thing anymore. Obviously it's Google and they have a lot going for them. There's nobody really challenging them right now. They entered the live stream game with Twitch. Obviously Twitch is going to be, bigger in that aspect, because it's kind of like a specialization kind of thing. But YouTube is just like so mainstream now. And obviously you could say that about like MySpace or AOL or something defunct, like, I don't know, GeoCities or something like that. But Google is a huge property. They have their hands in like literally every single pot that there is in the world, and all kinds of different technologies and consumer products and way of servicing people. And then Amazon. I remember when that was just like an online bookstore, when Amazon was just an online bookstore, and then that became a huge thing, and then the Prime membership, and then they bought Twitch, and then that was crazy. And so like we see big things happening like all the time, and YouTube definitely seems like a juggernaut, but there's no guarantee it's going to stay. Obviously there's going to be some sort of platform for expression and creating videos, and live streaming is, we've seen all kinds of different apps and social media things that have come and gone or blown up and then, settled down when it comes to streaming or photos or, gathering friends and all kinds of things like that. So there's always that possibility that YouTube doesn't exist for the next 100 years. But obviously, as a human being, I'm probably not going to exist for another 100 years. That's highly unlikely unless we meet the singularity at some time in my life, which we can all have a nice debate about. But you also have to look at people that aren't here anymore, like on YouTube or on Twitch. People that I watched or you watched, either because they weren't getting paid, so they couldn't do it anymore. Like Bratz and Beretta, that was a huge channel. That was one of my favorite channels when I first was able to start watching YouTube, and they would get millions of videos and millions of views on all their videos, but they weren't making money off of it. They had a website, they could sell t-shirts or whatever. But then that they just kind of disappeared. That was before money was a thing. So if money was a thing back then, maybe they would have lasted longer or still exist now as doing all this sketch comedy stuff. I know they had a sketch TV pilot that didn't go through, but there's been a lot of flare-ups and people that had short successes or they didn't stay for one reason or another. The first YouTuber that I watched, a gameplay commentator who did Call of Duty videos, that guy who camps. He was the first person I ever subscribed to. And he was just a kid too. He was quite younger than me. I mean, still is. He actually even follows me on Twitter, but he kind of disappeared. He had long droughts of disappearing. And obviously real life gets in the way, whether it be school or a job or a relationship or you move. All these kinds of things happen. There's this one YouTuber that I watched, for a few years, and then he quit YouTube so that he could move to the United States and play professional soccer. YouTube isn't the end goal or the dream of a lot of people. Maybe nowadays it is because they grew up knowing that you can make money and they think that it's super duper easy to be successful. And I feel, even though I haven't had a ton of success, I have a few subscribers. You're watching the video, you're listening to this video right now, so that kind of says something, that I've gotten people, hundreds of people to hit that subscribe button and listen and watch a lot of my videos, off and on. But I do feel like I've had way more success than I initially thought I ever could, when it came to views or subscriber numbers or the amount of comments. Even though I usually only get 2 or 3 comments a video, maybe sometimes 9, maybe sometimes 20, and then every now and again there's a video that blows up and gets 50 comments or something like that. And comments are way more important than views or sub numbers to me, because that's the interaction, and you definitely get a bigger reward with that with Twitch. I've been able to form friendships over watching streamers and most likely streaming myself and getting to interact with chat and getting to know people and such like that. It's a much more social, interactive process, especially since it is live. But I've definitely, on all fronts, been way more successful than I thought I ever would be. So I completely understand people who are actually successful, people that you can call YouTubers, when they say, I didn't think I would ever get this way, or I'm just a normal person. I totally get that, because if that were to, in an alternate dimension where that happens to me, I would feel the same. So I feel like the big YouTubers that you may or may not know, they always come off of genuine to me, or at least the ones that I watch. and there might be reasons for that, but they're all normal people. They all go through the same stuff that we do. Even the ones that, this is a job and they love their job, there's often stresses and things that come with that, whether it be like travel or, traffic or, dealing with lost friendships or, dealing with family drama or dealing with drama on their channel and the way that like YouTube has changed in the way that monetization works. So like there's a lot of things that real YouTubers, not me, have to deal with. And a lot of the ways that those problems have formed has changed over the years for a variety of reasons. And they have things like Twitter and Instagram and Vine, came and went, right? I think it's gone by now. I don't know. I just remember hearing it was going to close and I never got into that in the first place. So there's a lot of people that I used to watch and I thought like these people did amazing content and I would always watch them and they didn't stick with it, either they didn't have their passion in it or it made them depressed sometimes, or they went after something that they wanted more. Maybe they really enjoyed YouTube and they loved it, but then they found something they wanted to do even more. They enjoyed doing even more. So like those possibilities are always out there. And like real life, either good or bad, that happens to everybody. So like whenever this YouTube thing is going to end for me, it's just a hobby for me. I could stop at any point I want, and it's not going to affect me. There might be a couple of upset people who's like, I look forward to watching your videos or watching live streams. Oh, that's a bummer. I don't think anybody would be super upset. I'm not that kind of popular. I've only had one fan geek out in like my entire career. I've only had like one person like totally freak out when they got to play a game of Call of Duty with me, where they're like, "Oh my god, I'm shaking. This is crazy. You're Razor." That was really weird. And that's only happened one time. So like I don't have those kinds of experiences where people are really into my channel, my content, and what I do. And obviously there's like those, there are the lurkers, there are the people who never comment. So like you never know how impactful you can be to people. Like there have been channels that I've watched where it's just like, oh, this person or these groups of people are a staple in my life. Every day when I eat lunch, I watch Game Grumps every single day. That's just the thing that I do. So it's like, it just becomes a part of your life, part of your routine. And, we're all creatures of habit. And I think myself more than others, maybe because, I don't know, I'm cowardly. I don't know. But at the same time, I could stop at any point and it really doesn't affect me. It's not like I lose a big source of income or, the hardest impact would be like losing interaction with people, like losing ways that I interact with friends. Obviously, I played video games and on Xbox Live and had, gamer friends and online friends and real friends before that. But the way that YouTube and Twitch has been able to facilitate those interactions, either with a group of viewers or specific individuals, both on and off the air, that would change. And that would be the worst thing about leaving. 'Cause this isn't my job. This isn't, but it's a source of enjoyment for me. It's a hobby, and it's a hobby that's, requires attentiveness and somewhat skill and attention, and 'cause you're like producing something, and maybe I put in more effort than some people who make better videos. Maybe I obviously put in less effort than some people who make better videos or worse videos at some point. But I'm just saying the amount of time that this hobby consumes is on par with some people who can live off this, and is completely nowhere near some people who, have to stream 8 hours a day, or they have to make 1 or 2 videos every single day in order to, pay the rent and stay alive. So that aspect of my life wouldn't change. And so like, it makes me wonder, I've been doing this for 6 years. I've been streaming for 3. It's all been fun. I've never had like long gaps. And when it comes to like the social aspects of it, like especially with the advent of Twitter, where everyone feels like they're a part of your life, or like vloggers, that's a big thing. People that feel like they're a part of their lives because they share everything with them. I mean, obviously myself, I don't do that. Like I have my own private life. I don't bring it in because it's not necessary. And, it's nice to share when, good moments happen, and you try to keep the positivity up And if something bad happens, you don't want to bog other people down with that information. Or at least, that's how some people would feel. And it depends on the brand that you have, or, what kind of channel that you run, or what kind of content that you create. But I myself, I just stick to making videos, writing scripts, creating thumbnails, doing live streams. And that's really, I don't get personal with the things that I do, and that's not what the channel is about, so that's okay. But I've watched other content creators who have gone through rough patches. Some of them are super successful now, or they were successful and now not so much, or they've had to change jobs or things like that. Just because, it's life. Things happen. Not everything happens for a reason. Obviously, that's a stupid thing to believe, and you should feel bad for thinking that. But things happen to all people, whether they be successful or not. So I've seen people that I enjoy, sometimes used to enjoy, where all of a sudden a year goes and they don't make a video, and then they come back and they're like, I'm back, and then everyone's like, yay. And then some people take super duper long breaks, but they don't feel like they have the obligation. They're like, oh, I upload when I feel like it, I upload when I'm happy, or I upload when I have something that I want to make or something that I want to share. And that's completely fine. Everything is up to their own creators. I myself have tried to keep a conscious, constant stream of content since I started. Back when I started, I would do between 1 and 3 videos a week. And then there was a span where I would do at least 5 videos a week. There was a long time where almost every single day for a year or two where I made a video. And there have been projects that have kept, things that haven't been successful, things that have been successful, games that I've tried to focus on that didn't get any attention, or games that I didn't think would garner attention, and they do. So everything's a surprise. Everything you don't know until you open the box what's inside. So there's just a lot of randomness that comes to everything. I remember back in the day when everyone was sub for sub, let's do a collab, let's do a dual com or a tri-com. I remember when those were things. And nowadays it definitely does come down to maybe you need just one thing that goes viral, or most likely you need to network with people. That's when it comes to anything in quote unquote entertainment, networking is the most important thing. It just depends on who you know and connections and things like that. That is the most important thing, but there's always that one person or those 2 people or group of people that they just work really hard and they create something that speaks to an audience, whether they be very niche or very broad. And they can have slight modicums of success or huge successes that they ride longer than anyone thought possible. And that's really cool for those people. But there are some people that are super successful, and they're like, you know what? This doesn't make me happy anymore, and they quit. So I never know when that's going to be. Things come up. Either be personally to you or to somebody and then something has to change. We've seen people move, and that changes. Maybe they stop creating content, or they break up with somebody that they were in a channel with, and then that just kind of ends it with that. Or they get sick, or someone they know gets sick and they have to take care of them. So any of that can happen to pretty much anybody, especially if they work by themselves. So, as far as myself goes, I don't know when this is going to end. It could be tomorrow. It could be next month. It could be a year from now. It could be 10 years from now. There's no way of knowing. So obviously, make the best of, the time that you have, but there's always that kind of error of uncertainty. I don't know when every single time I upload a video, I don't know if it's going to do well or not. Every time I try to start a new series, or I do a scripted thing that I think's going to has a chance of getting 10,000 views, and it doesn't, and there's something that's like, oh, this will probably get 500 views in the first day, but then that's it, and maybe it only gets 300, but 2 months from now it gets 1,000, and there's a lot of uncertainty with that. And obviously, for myself, I kind of have to go into managing your time correctly, especially with streaming, and especially since I've increased the frequency of my streams in the last year, where I try to stream most days of the week as opposed to, 3 or 4 a week. Definitely have to manage your time and schedule things out. And I haven't been the best at that. I'm going to be completely honest, at videos that I probably should make that people want, or the videos that would get more views, and sometimes not putting in as much attention to something as I probably should. And there's some times where I really, really focus on something and it just doesn't pan out for one reason or another, but everything's a risk, as small as it may be on a channel like mine. But like, for instance, this podcast was like a new thing, and like I've always wanted to do a podcast. Like I've always wanted to. I've never had a trouble speaking about any subject at length, and there are definitely people who have problems with that. But it's something that I've always enjoyed listening to and always wanted to be a part of. So at one point, it's just like, I'm just going to do my own, and I'm probably going to be by myself most of the time. But, I've had friends on here before and plan to in the future as well. And so this is just kind of a thing where, like, I don't know how long I'm going to keep doing this. Like, some of you might remember the save state, like, vloggy thing that I kind of did for a couple of months, and those first couple did pretty decently, but I didn't keep up with it. I got complacent and lazy with it, and I didn't keep it up, so it failed for a couple of reasons. And then there's something like What Mattered, which has really, really gone down in viewership and engagement on my channel. Like, even when I first started it, years ago, it got more views back then than it does now. And nowadays I have way more subscribers. So like What Matters is the thing that I'm looking into, about like maybe ending or maybe changing. Obviously, I definitely have a problem, if I wanted to be successful and maximize my views and sub counts and numbers on this channel, about streamlining things and keeping things consistent. There's not a lot of content creators out there who just do such a wide variety of things without being like popular. I don't know if that sounds weird, but there's a lot of people, and that's something that a lot of people will give you advice to do if you want to start streaming or start making YouTube videos. It's like, focus on one thing and be known for that. And that definitely is a good piece of advice. That's a good thing to be successful. If you specialize in one game, or maybe one genre of game, or one series of games, then you'll be successful. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of huge Twitch channels out there that only do one game, whether it be League of Legends or CSGO or Overwatch, or, maybe even some like smaller, like they only speedrun Mario 64 or something like that, which you're not going to see very often on like the top of the Twitch directory. But they have that niche group of fans to where that keeps them going. They're able to get a sub button and make, some change out of that. But specialization is definitely very important, because especially when it comes to like information or like tips and trying to get better at something, it helps if you focus on that, because someone who's looking for that doesn't want to see all this other white noise. Because on my channel, I do a news show every week. Every now and again, I do a podcast. I make Overwatch videos, Smash Brothers videos. I'm trying to incorporate Mass Effect Andromeda. I've tried doing Battlefield. At times I've wanted to try other games or to start playing other games, and either I don't enjoy those games or they don't seem like they're good content for YouTube. But I'm always changing. Like on my live streams, I started doing Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and that was the only thing that I did for like the first, 3 or 4 months. And still after the first, I don't know, at least half a year, that was almost the only thing that I did. And so people who wanted to see that would come to my channel, and they'll see that. But the fact that I do so many different things hurts me, and I'm aware of that, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. But if I wanted to, go for broke and try to see if YouTube can become a career after 6 years, which obviously nobody gets successful on the internet after 6 years of failing. That doesn't happen. Maybe if you're like an author or an actor, maybe that'll work. But when it comes to YouTube, people will get famous after only like 3 months or, you know, a year tops. That's just the way things kind of work. And obviously there'll be exceptions to rules and such. But when it comes to one dude making content on a constant basis all by him or herself, it's quite difficult. I've never set like goals for myself, like subscriber goals or viewer goals or anything like that, because for me this is just a fun hobby that I know is one day gonna end, and who knows when that's gonna happen. Honestly, it's always something like just like, I know this may sound corny or whatever, but every day you wake up and you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what the world, you know, holds for you. But like, it's kind of like that every time you upload a video, maybe, or you know, anytime a company does something, they never know what the kind of response is going to be. Sometimes, you know, surprise hit comes out, whether it be a commercial or, you know, movie or something like that. And sometimes there's huge backlash over something that you thought was innocuous and minuscule. And then that really hurts your chances at being successful monetarily or otherwise. But for anybody, when it comes to their careers, sometimes they think they know what they're going to be on a set path, whether it be in entertainment or not. Like I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a doctor. Oops, I'm a comedy star now, and I'm in a huge blockbuster film, you know, like, or I'm a YouTuber now, and, you know, I make weekly videos that get 500,000 views. So you don't know what you're going to get, as Forrest Gump would say. But I mean, it sounds like cliche, but it really is true. And especially with like the speed that the internet goes, you know, you gotta keep people's attention, otherwise they'll move on to the next thing. We see that with video games. So, you know, For Honor, huge thing, and then, or The Division, huge thing, and then everyone just kind of falls off, and then that's kind of just lost to the wayside. And there's some things that have like huge staying power, like Minecraft or Counter-Strike or something like that don't necessarily need sequels or constant updates or new kinds of content like that, or channels that just make the same kinds of videos over and over again. And sometimes that just works super duper well. Sometimes it gets stale. Sometimes you lose people and you have to freshen things up or something like that. But, you know, everyone's entitled to do what they want to do with the content that they create. And I think I'm a, you know, prime example of that, as someone who is unsuccessful and doesn't care and does what he wants. I obviously could have fun if this was just a Smash Brothers channel. I would probably be more successful. I'd get more people to hit that sub button if I just made Smash content, because those are the videos that I make that tend to get the most views, or at least those are the videos that have the most views out of my entire channel. And I could have been, you know, if I just stuck with that and specialized and made more videos on Smash, whether it be on the competitive scene or different kinds of breakdowns or things like that. But there's also the different kinds of specializations you go in. You know, there are some people, like, either you have to be really, really good, or you have to be like, I don't know, really, really funny or something like that. Like, you have to be entertaining no matter what it is. Certain people will find certain things entertaining and certain things not entertaining. But it all depends on the presentation and how you can focus the attention on what you're trying to put out and how appealing that can be to people looking for that. We know plenty of people who are not that great at video games, but we watch them because they're super funny, or the way that they play it is ingenious or unique, or the way that they interact with each other. And we see people that are really, really good at games, and we just are in awe of their skill, and we try to get like them. So like we try to emulate what they do. Or, you know, there's some people who are really good and entertaining. Either the way that they present it, or they're very articulate and have a great voice and have a, you know, very professional way of doing things, or they're just like just different, and that kind of sets them apart. So, you know, different strokes for different folks, obviously, but like with any you know, esports player or Twitch streamer or YouTuber, you never know how long this kind of thing is going to last for one reason or another. I always want to create content. I mean, obviously, this is my main hobby, is creating content for YouTube and live streaming on Twitch. That's really fun. It's changed the way that I play games. There are some games that I've really enjoyed because of the interaction that I get, so I enjoy playing that game or game series more. There are some games that maybe I wouldn't focus on if I never did YouTube or never did Twitch, or maybe if I just did one or the other, who knows. Twitch and YouTube are very, very different beasts in how you can garner viewership and success, and Twitch is a live thing where you constantly have to be on, depending on what you're streaming. Obviously, Bob Ross hasn't cared about his viewership forever because Twitch didn't exist in his lifetime, but he's very successful because he appeals to a crowd of people that want what he has to offer. I know that's a very weird example, but it just, I don't think if I told myself 5 years ago or 10 years ago, yeah, this thing, remember that show that ended like just around when you were born, that's going to be a huge thing, being live streamed to the world, or people all playing Pokemon all together with, everyone has the controls and that becomes a huge thing, or live streaming all the episodes of Power Rangers and then everyone thinks it's cool again, or, gets super nostalgic. And so those, like, the internet and what is trending and what becomes a meme is like really hard to predict, but when it happens, it can spread like fire, or it can just be a nice bright puffy firework and then fizzle out. And that's like, all of those things are okay, because not everything can be a failure, not everything can be a success, and sometimes things get mixed up in between. So I don't know, just kind of things to think about. I don't know how long I'll be doing YouTube. I don't know how long I'll be in Twitch. Maybe like other people, I take super long breaks. At some point in the future, I'm not, this isn't planned to be a prophetic message, but anything can change with real life or with tastes of people. Either they want to go for something and they neglect other things, or they need a change, whether it be stop to do something or just to do something else in conjunction with that, or whatever. So yeah, I don't know how long I'll be doing YouTube. I don't know how long I'll be doing Twitch. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'll be playing video games the rest of my life. That's kind of something that was kind of weird as a kid, because you never saw many adults playing games. Like my dad would play games, when I was a kid. But like, he wasn't like, as into it as like a kid is, or, didn't do it as often, or would have like long spurts of focusing on something. But like the way that gaming has become like so mainstream, and video games make more money than everything out there, more than the movies, more than TV, billions and billions of dollars every single year through game sales. And then there's this whole internet community that people spend and make money on, and it's crazy. So I'm pretty sure I'll be gaming until I die, or at least as long as I'm able. And that's really probably the only thing that I'm really confident about, because there's just like so many uncertain things, and that's okay. I've had people that was like, oh, this person's my favorite streamer, and then they stop streaming, or they stop streaming that game that I loved them playing for so long, or this is my favorite YouTube channel, or one of my favorite YouTube channels, and then they stop. They take long breaks. Maybe they come back. Maybe they don't come back as good as they used to be, and maybe they just stop altogether, and we never know what happens to some of those people. That's kind of the thing. And that's okay, because like, we aren't owed that. Like, I don't feel like I'm owed knowing where some of the people that I used to watch, like, what happened to them. Like, I know there was some drama going on in your real life and I need to know, or, oh, you went after this, did that work out for you? I wish you still did, YouTube or something like that. Like, we aren't owed any of that. And that's okay. Obviously, some tragic things do happen to some people, and that's always sad. But things happen, and YouTube's been a fun long thing for me, as well as Twitch. I've been doing Twitch, almost half as long as I've been doing YouTube. Just a couple months removed from half of my internet persona or online presence. Been doing YouTube for 6 and Twitch for 3 years, and I don't know how much longer that's going to be. I really don't, but I don't plan on ending it. I still have fun with it, and as long as I have fun with it, I still plan on creating content. And the more that people enjoy it, the more incentive that gives them, regardless if they get 100 views or 100 million views. So just some things that I've been thinking, or at least thought that I should reflect on that I haven't beforehand. So yeah, either way, whenever I stop, because I don't think I'll be doing YouTube videos when I'm 80 or 60, but hey, maybe I am. Everything's uncertain. But whenever it ends, it'll have been time well spent. And that's all I have to say about that.